Welcome to today's episode of the Declutter Hub podcast, your channel for super easy, no-nonsense advice on how to declutter and organise your home. Please welcome your hosts, professional organisers Ingrid Jansen and Leslie Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to episode 129 of the Declutter Hub podcast. I'm Ingrid. In today's episode, I'm talking to Laura Taylor, and we will be talking about how to build a perfectly curated capsule wardrobe. I'm nearly tripping over the words. A capsule wardrobe with the aim to shrink your wardrobe and expand your style. Now, Laura is an independent image consultant running her own business, Your Style with Laura. She spends her days empowering women to enhance their natural coloring and shape without having to be perfect. She focuses equally on how her clients feel as well as how they look. And her goal is for every woman to fall in love with themselves just the way they are now. Well, that sounds like an amazing plan. We don't do perfect here in the Declutter Hub, Laura. So that sounds like a great idea. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We are delighted that you are a guest. And we know our listeners are interested in this topic. You know, we talk about decluttering wardrobes, we talk about clothes, and then the discussion came up about color and style. And then, I don't know, I think you came up somewhere or somebody tagged you and we thought, how fabulous is this? We need to get you on the show and we need to talk about this. So thank you for taking the time out to chat to us.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. Be good.
You're welcome. So you are an image consultant and you help people with a capsule wardrobe. Now, let's start at the beginning. What is a capsule wardrobe, and does that mean you can have 10 items of clothing?
But it's a good question, because I guess when people hear capsule wardrobe, they can panic and think, only 10 items of clothing? Oh my God. You know, there's some people that are doing the one dress 100-day challenge. I mean, that is the extreme capsule wardrobe, where you wear one dress for 100 days. And how many different ways can you wear it? Which is the kind of extreme end of it. But I mean, the way I look at capsule wardrobes is that they shouldn't be descriptive and limiting and kind of not inspiring. What they should be is it should be a wardrobe full of carefully selected and curated clothes that make you look good and feel good. So that when you open your wardrobe in the morning to get dressed, you don't go, oh my God, what can I see? Right, that jumper and those jeans, shut it again and never look at it again. You know, it should serve you. The wardrobe should serve its master. It should make you feel good. So it should have carefully thought through. It takes a bit of time to build that wardrobe, but once you've got it, it's very easy then to kind of combine your outfits together in a whole multitude of kind of different combinations.
Okay, that sounds great. So you don't tell your clients you can only have 30 items or 50 items, and the number of items is not important.
Yeah.
You are seeing it far more. A capsule wardrobe is a wardrobe that you want to open and everything in there you can fit. It suits you, you like it, you feel good wearing it. And it doesn't matter if it's 12 items, 50 items, or 60 items, but more about everything that's in there I can wear and I feel good in it.
Yeah, everything in there should have a function. So, you know, what I kind of, when I do decluttering wardrobes with my clients, you know, we look and check if you've got multiples of certain things. So usually we always rebuy the same things.
Yeah.
You know, we just do. Before I decluttered my own wardrobe, when I pulled them out, I realized I had like 30 navy dresses. You don't need 30 navy dresses. You know, it's about having a few of each kind of key item and that everything in there has a function, it has a purpose. You know, gone are the days of having a summer wardrobe and a winter wardrobe. It's about, and this is all to do with kind of, you know, the topics around sustainable fashion and having, you know, it's not about fast fashion and buying something and then getting rid of it at the end of the season. You know, it's about having a workable wardrobe that you can use all year round. Obviously, thick jumpers you can't wear in summer. There are limitations, but that you have, certain items that I would recommend my clients to have. For example, a dress, that suits your shape and your coloring, which we can talk about a bit later, but that you can layer it up in the winter. You can team it up with a polo neck underneath. You can layer it up with a cardigan. You could even throw a jumper on over the top of the dress and it becomes a jumper and a skirt. It's how can you combine different elements within your wardrobe, but every item is hardworking. It's kind of about quality, not quantity. So yes, I wouldn't say to somebody, oh, it doesn't matter how many items you have. You can have 400 items in your wardrobe, because then it's not a capsule wardrobe and things aren't getting used enough. But I'm not as prescriptive as saying 20 items. That it depends on your lifestyle and what you need.
So does quality over quantity also automatically mean that the clothes have to be expensive? Or can a quality item actually be an item that you can buy in your local clothing shop that's not necessarily expensive? Is the quality more about how much wear you get out of it?
So there's a really important thing I talk about with my clients to do with cost per wear. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, sometimes, a lot of the time quality is attributed to cost, and that, the price of an item, usually it is more expensive if it is well made, if it is made from higher quality materials. That I do find you do get what you pay for quite often.
Yeah.
And a lot of women are like, there's no way I would spend £150 on a pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. But actually, if we broke down what they do spend on lower priced, less, well made footwear, per wear, they're probably spending more. Yeah. My shoes, they're very well thought through what I need based on my body shape and my coloring and my requirements for my life. And I will spend £150 on a pair of shoes, but they will last me for about 8 to 10 years. And I will wear them all the time because I love to wear them. They make me feel good.
Yeah.
And I know they work for me. And when I put them on, I have a bit more of a spring in my step.
Yeah. 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 I can completely see what you mean. Many, many years ago, I can't even remember how long, I bought this pair of boots, these gray boots. And they were, I think at the time, about 180 euros or 180 pounds. I thought that was a lot of money. But my calves fit in it. I've got really big calves, so I always struggled. So I was like, okay, this is good. It's actually a boot I can actually do up until my knees instead of having to kind of struggle to get my calves in them. And they've lasted and lasted. I've taken care of them. I've polished them. I've brought them to the menders, and they still are in good condition. Perfect. Even though they've been here for a long time. I love wearing them. So yes, I completely understand what you're saying, because I've had them for such a long time and I've worn them so many times. The cost per wear goes down. While other boots that might have been cheaper, and I've worn them 5 times, and then I thought, they're not really great. The heel is too high. They're too tight on my toes. I can't get my calf in properly. And then you declutter them because you get fed up if they're not well made and if they don't fit properly.
Yeah, exactly. And it just means if things, it doesn't mean everything has to cost, hundreds and hundreds, but, if you are, investing in an item, you really think it through. I say to a client, I think, can you imagine it in your wardrobe? Where does it belong? What will you wear it with? How often will you wear this item? Do you already have an item that ticks this box? And if it costs a bit more, you do put more thought into, it's the classic impulse buy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was only £15. And then it stays in the wardrobe because you're not quite sure if it suits you. And oh, well,
Yeah.
And I don't want women's wardrobes to just be full of impulse buys.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's then go back to the capsule wardrobe. What are the key components? Do you think the must-haves in a capsule wardrobe?
So you need to have what I call layering items. So they are your basic kind of tops that you've got to get the right necklines and sleeve lengths and colors based on your body shape, which is why, I do that because then you can make the right decisions for you. And then you kind of, depending on how many you have, you get more and more combinations, but around 10 as a kind of, I would say, as a good level to have in a few different colors that all complement each other. All of my tops are in blues and pinks and purples, and they all mix and match, everything goes. And then I would say to people, it depends on your lifestyle and your work and your requirements, but key things would be a well-tailored and fitted coat. And, you don't need 5,000 coats. You just need a good winter coat and then a good kind of transitional spring, autumn coat. You get it the right color, tailored beautifully to suit you. And that's all you need in terms of a well-tailored coat. Also a good pair of jeans based on, again, on your shape. A lot of stylists would say having a white shirt, a well-fitted, tailored white shirt. Now, I don't have one of those because it's not my style personality. It's not my requirement, but you will see that on the list of the must-haves for a wardrobe. So I mention it because it's one of those things that obviously a lot of people think it's important for them, but it's not something I'm ever going to wear. That's not my style. But for me, I will have layering items because then you can essentially make your own jumpers. I can take a basic polo neck and then put on top a V-neck t-shirt that I would normally wear in the summer, and hey presto, I have a jumper. So those are the kinds of things I would say. Evaluate what you need in terms of your work-life balance and make sure you have layering items and a good dress. I would definitely say a dress that is a smart casual dress that you can wear out for an evening with friends, or whenever we can do that again, but you can also wear it in the winter during the day on a dog walk, or out with the kids or whatever it is, or you can dress it up. So it can be really versatile.
Okay.
That's the item you need.
And how about maybe like a black pair of trousers and maybe a jacket or something? I mean, I would.
Yeah, so definitely a black, or it depends on what your neutral is. So I talk to women about the importance of neutrals in your wardrobe. Hands up if your wardrobe is mostly black, navy, and grey. So it's like the woman's wardrobe. That doesn't work for all skin tones. It depends on your colouring of what I would suggest for you. But yes, you want to use your neutrals, such as black, if that happens to be your color, or maybe it's gray, or it's like a khaki, something like that. And you use that in your investment items, such as trousers, coats, bags, shoes, so that the theory is they all then coordinate with everything else you wear. So if you are an autumn, which I think you are,
okay.
just so you know, you would look, your wardrobe being fitted with lots of kind of deep browns and aubergines. And I would say to you to get your investment items, your trousers, your coats, your shoes, your belts in these dark neutrals. And then they will go with all of your accent colors, I call them, which you would use to make up your tops and things like that. And then they all have the same ingredients, and then you can mix and match, because a lot of women end up with clothes that nothing goes. When you buy a dress and then, oh, I've got to buy new shoes to go with that, the new bag to go with that. It's an entirely new set, and then you never wear them again. Yeah. It's like a one wear. So the idea is that you buy a dress that's in the same kind of color scheme that suits you, and you've already got a pair of shoes that will work for that.
I see. So you mentioned very briefly kind of in between the black clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I go to the shops here in the UK, there is lots and lots of black, and it's actually not something, unless maybe when it's I think I can actually count the black clothes that I have on one hand. I think a pair of trousers, maybe a top. I think I've got one jumper, and that's about it. But when I go shopping, I see lots and lots of black. Mm-hmm. Is it because people think that the black will slim them down, or what's the idea here? I'm always looking for color, and I'm like, it's so boring. It's all just black.
It is a lot of black and navy. The British woman's obsession with navy knows no bounds. There's an interesting statistic: 70% of all clothing sold to women in the UK is black. Wow. And a big part of this is because we don't know what suits us. So they, the retailers, the designers, they sell you black because they're like, you don't know what you want, so we'll just do black. And yes, black has this kind of timeless appeal to it. So you kind of go back, the little black dress, Coco Chanel, kind of, that's where it came from, and it's had this sort of stature ever since, and it is classic and it is timeless. But the thing with black is, unless you're a winter, it can actually age you in terms of coloring. It can overpower you, or it can kind of wash you out a little bit. And women wear black because yes, it's slimming and you're not drawing attention to yourself because everyone else is in black. But actually there are different blacks, if you want to call it, dark neutrals, as I refer to them. So it could be, instead of the little black dress, it could be the little forest green dress, and it will do the same job. Dark colors, the eye doesn't know what to do with them, so it can't quite, so you can hide under them, hide the lumps and bumps and things like that. So that's why women love black, and it goes with everything because everything in their wardrobe is black.
I must admit, I already told you before we started recording, I love navy blue. It's one of my favorite colors. So maybe my black is navy.
It is, correct. It's the same with me. My black, when I did my wardrobe, I was like, goodness me, because I prided myself when I don't have any black, but I had navy.
Yeah.
And that's my black.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, it hides everything. It's classic, it's timeless. But what I try and help my women do is inject a bit of color into that palette, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, that is why there is black everywhere. It is slimming, it is timeless, it is classic. And particularly in the UK, women are kind of brought up to see if we take pride in our appearance, or we look in the mirror, or it's vanity, and it's not, but there's still that kind of negativity around that. So women, most of my clients, they don't like looking at themselves in the mirror, and they just kind of throw on black and they don't really think about it. And what I really want to do is empower women to know what suits them, so that they can step away from black.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Then I wanted to go back a little bit, because you said kind of in between everything, oh, by the way, you're in autumn. So are we working here with seasons? How does this whole color thing work then? Winter, you mentioned autumn. So can I make the conclusion, and I'm sure you're going to tell me more about this, that every person has a season that they kind of fit in?
Most do. Not everybody. About 20% of the population have what we call a neutral skin tone, and then they don't sit in a seasonal box. So yes, you're right. You may, it depends on where image consultants train. They will use different language, but it all kind of is around and about the same idea. But yes, in theory, you belong to a season. So I'm a summer. Some of the seasons do actually correlate with the colors you imagine. So in autumn, when you imagine autumnal colors, that does actually translate with what colors in the autumnal palette they match. But yeah, it's to do with skin tone. So you have a warm skin tone or a cool skin tone. And it's also to do with the color of your hair and your eyes. And it's not about your eye color. You can have, so I have blue eyes, and I could be any of the 4 seasons and have blue eyes. It's to do with the patterns in the eye. It's very bizarre, but it's all to do with that. That can tell me a lot about your season. And the idea with color analysis is that you want to mirror your complexion. It's not about opposites attract. So if you have a warm skin tone, you will look better in yellow-based colors. So obviously yellows, oranges and greens, and this is like very generally speaking, obviously. Whereas I have a cool skin tone and I look better in blue-based colors, which are cooler. And then how many colors you combine, and that's all kind of the nuances of each season and your unique coloring. But some people don't fit in a season, and they're analyzed in a slightly different way, which I could go on about all day, but I'm aware I'd probably send everyone to sleep if I talk about it for too long.
So you, as an image consultant, is one of your main tasks to first figure out what kind of season the person fits in with the colors, and then you start to look at sleeve length and neckline, and is the underlying tone of the eyes and the face and the skin, is that leading in the clothes?
Yeah, so to be able to declutter your wardrobe, whether that's, somebody professional would do it or they do it, you need to have a direction. And yes, so knowing what colors suit you, I would do their analysis on coloring and we would draw out what colors are best. And then I do body shape analysis as well. So we look at what necklines, everything, literally from top to toe, what combinations of outfits, work best for their shape. And then we go to the wardrobe. And you want everything in there that enhances your figure, basically. But a really important thing is what you physically suit might not be what you're drawn to. And that happens very often. And it's a really important thing. I'm not just dressing, a piece of meat, I'm dealing with a person. And a lot of the time, these two things don't marry up. So my job is to make sure that I work with what they are drawn to as well. So say they love black and that's all they own. I'm not going to say bin it all because that's not practical and it's not very empowering for them. I will show them how to wear black well for their coloring, how they can, what I call, rescue a color. And we work with what they have. So it's not about then binning everything and starting again. It's obviously removing the excess, the stuff that doesn't fit. I mean, don't get me started about the thin and the fat wardrobe, get rid of that stuff. And then we can work with what they've got there. That's kind of at the heart of it.
Okay. So, so many questions. I'm like, I need to ask you so many questions. Let's rewind a little bit because I want to talk more about decluttering, definitely, and organizing and
yes,
fat and thin clothes. I want to come back to that. But can I go back to what are the benefits of knowing your colors?
The benefits. So it empowers you. It gives you knowledge to know, what works for you. We are bombarded with options and choice now. We mentioned lots of black, but also lots of black in different silhouettes. Or, lots of navy, but also seasonal trends, and the leopard print. I'm guilty, I'm wearing it right now, but the different trends that are going. And what it enables you to do is to define your style, which is different to fashion. Fashion it changes, style endures. I think Coco Chanel said that. I might be stealing it from her. But, style endures, and it's finding what suits you within just the noise, of whether you shop online, and particularly now everyone's shopping online, you can't even try anything on. So it takes the guesswork out. I essentially have an ingredients list of what works for me, and I will be very select in terms of what I look at. You can instantly just filter out everything that's the wrong colors, and I look for the right silhouettes, and I also know what gaps I have in my wardrobe, what I'm looking for. So it empowers you, and if you look good, you will feel good. And my clients, genuinely, they just lift their head a bit higher, and they a lot of them haven't really spent any time thinking about themselves or talking just about them and doing something just for them. And so it's a really kind of therapeutic experience, and it's something I think every woman should do at some point.
Do you feel that people who have their colors done spend less money on shopping because they make less mistakes?
Yeah, definitely. I could drag that answer out, but yes. Initially they might go a bit bananas and go out and buy stuff because they're really excited, and I try and calm down, but yeah, they become far more savvy shoppers.
Okay, interesting. So you said that part of the capsule wardrobe is being able to layer items up. And yes, that you kind of want to get away from this is what I wear in the summer and this is what I wear in the winter. And Leslie and I have been talking about that in the Declutter Hub as well. And I kind of call it the year-round wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because people ask us this question all the time. So where are your winter clothes? Where are your summer clothes? And I'm like, I don't have a massive wardrobe, so I do need to rotate some of my clothes. So my long sleeve tops go in my spare bedroom in the summer, and my short summer tops will be moved in the spring into my main wardrobe, but the
Yeah.
bulk of my wardrobe stays the same, because these are items that you can wear year round, either with a thicker jumper or with a short sleeve t-shirt, or with a half sleeve t-shirt or something like that, or a top. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I've been saying that for a very long time.
Yeah, and you were way ahead of the time, Ingrid. You were there. It is, and it's all about that now. It's kind of, the official term is modern layering. So you've been on this for a while. You're there, and it's you can now legitimately wear socks and sandals. It's a thing now, because it's kind of the extreme end. I'm giving you an extreme example, but why should sandals just be for the summer? And people are finding creative ways of wearing their wardrobe all year round, making it work for them. Because you think about all these lovely, I always come back to dresses, but summer dresses that you have, you only wear them on holiday or for special occasions, or I don't know. They can then be worn all year round if you just layer them.
Yeah. So let's then move on to decluttering, because of course that's what we love in the Declutter Hub, is decluttering. Now, are there any do's and don'ts when you are decluttering? Well, we're going to talk about organizing in a minute, but I first want to talk about decluttering. So what are the do's and don'ts when you are helping a client declutter their wardrobe?
I'd say don't make any rash decisions. Obviously know what your shape and color is first, so you know what you're removing. And then I sort of say to them, do go through and remove anything that it doesn't fit, is the first thing. There's no point having the wardrobe that one day I might fit back into it, because every time you open your wardrobe and look at that item, it's going to make you feel horrible, because you're like, oh, I'm just too big, it won't fit. It makes you feel miserable. So remove the items that don't empower you, that don't make you feel great, that don't fit, that are, they're very worn. Anything that's past its time, remove those things, because you can't see the wood for the trees otherwise. You've just got too much going on. So definitely remove those items before you kind of go any further. And then I say, get everything out all at once. And you might disagree with me, but it's very it's quite a wake-up call when my client gets everything out they own into one space, and you realize what you've duplicated and you have lots of. And it can be, I did it, and it's almost, I was quite appalled. I was like, God, I had this much stuff. Like, one person does not need this much. So yes, get it all out at once, because then you have to put it back. So, you need to give yourself nearly a day to do it properly. And you do it. If you half do it, you won't finish it. I think to get the full impact and the full benefit, you have to get everything out. And then, put things back when they have a space. So that's definitely a do. And don't, make any kind of impulsively do it straight away. Take your time with it. Block out a time to do it. Okay. I would say.
Yeah. Well, I fully agree with you to get everything out of the wardrobe. I mean, if you're doing your wardrobe, you might not also want to pull out your knickers and your socks and your pajamas and your swimwear. But if we're talking about a wardrobe and we're talking about clothes that are on a hanger, basically, yes, I think it's very important to pull everything out and to start sorting it into categories and kind of go, how many have I got of everything? And what I do a lot as well with my clients is to say, show me the favorites. So instead of starting with what can you declutter, I'm like, tell me first what the items are that you wear all the time and that you feel good in, because those are the items that normally end up being on a chair somewhere, on the floor somewhere, that are in the wash, and they can't return to the wardrobe because the wardrobe itself is bursting at the seams. And you can't put anything else in. And then they go, but I can't fit in that, and I can't wear that, and that is very old, and that I actually don't like, that was a mistake. And and then you have to kind of start making those tough decisions, really, isn't it?
It's very emotional. And obviously people have a memory associated with lots of these items, and they might be a good memory, they also might not be, but there's sentimental value attached to these items. And someone says, well, this was gifted to me, you know. I'm like, okay, but it's yours now. It was gifted to you, so it is yours, and you don't owe this person anything to keep holding on to it if it's not helping you.
Yeah.
You know, that person would be upset if they knew that you were only holding on to it because it was a gift. You know, pass it on and let somebody else have joy from wearing this item.
Well, Laura, you're on board with the Declutter Hub philosophy here. This is what we say all the time. So we're very much aligned like that. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about organizing then. So you are going to put stuff back in a wardrobe. How do you organize it?
So there's different schools of thought on it. There really is. And I usually hand over to the decluttering experts at this point. I go, someone else can do this bit because they're better. But you can put things in categories, you know, which I find is most helpful. That's how I do it. Some people do it by color, but all my things have the same colors in them, so that would not work for me. So I do mine by category, by type, so I know where I'm going. Some people will put things in advance for that week. They will plan what they're going to wear. It takes the stress out, so they will line that section up in their wardrobe and have those outfits there so they can see how they combine and work. So they have like a working section of a wardrobe.
Yeah.
But that's how I do it. I try and hang as many things as I can, or, you know, things that I fold, I make sure I can see everything, because if you can't see it, you won't wear it. You'll forget it's there.
Yeah.
You know, so it has to work for you. So I try and hang as many things as possible. And when I've got items that my clients really don't want to let go of yet, I get them to turn the hang around.
Okay.
You know, and then if they haven't worn it in a year, it's gone. But yeah, I would categorize by color, because the idea is that everything will have the same ingredients in it, as I call it. So they're already categorized. Everything goes. So I would do it by type of garment, and make sure everything is visible, because you will not wear it.
Yeah. All our listeners who are now thinking, oh no, I don't know my colors. I have got all sorts of black. I'm going to have to bin my whole wardrobe. We can now just calm everybody. We don't have to bin your whole entire wardrobe.
No.
But you need to find out what your season is, what your colors are, what your shape is. And based on that, kind of figure out what fits you well, and slowly but surely over time build to that wardrobe, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a slow process. And, you know, one of the things that women always say to me is, oh, I will get it done, but I'm going to wait till I've lost a stone. You know, I'm going to lose this and then I'm going to do it. You know, and it kind of makes me sad, because women are sort of saying they're not worth it now. That their body, you know, they're kind of waiting to treat themselves in the future, as it were. And actually knowing how to dress your body when you don't feel as body confident is more important than whenever you do achieve this ideal weight, you know. So I always say to my clients, your bones don't get fat. It's about your skeletal structure, essentially, that really defines what shape you are. So yeah, knowledge is power, and it can be very empowering to know, actually. And what I help my women then do is focus on all the great things about them, about their coloring, about their shape, and then they get excited to enhance those amazing elements, and then they don't focus on the bits they don't like so much. You know, it's kind of just slightly shifting the focus of attention.
Yeah, and I think also shifting mindset as well, isn't it? Because
Definitely.
I think a lot of us shop because when we're feeling a little bit miserable, and it's retail therapy, and then we kind of think, oh, we want to have that fix of buying something, so we kind of grab something that we later think, what was I thinking?
Yeah. That looked different on the hanger or on the model. And then it's resigned to that section of the wardrobe of the impulse buys that you kind of either want to wear it, but you're a bit worried that people are either going to laugh at you, or it doesn't suit you, so you don't wear it, or you were like, no, what was I thinking? That was a terrible idea, you know. And so it will remove those kind of impulse buys. But also, if it will also gives a lot of women kind of confirmation of, I knew I was right. I'm just going to do it. Kind of gives them like license to just dial it up and do it all the time.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It reminds me of when I had a like I was telling you before the show,
Mm.
that I had my colors done many, many, many years ago. We're talking end 90s here, people. End 90s. That's how old I am. So I actually have already said to Laura, I'm going to do a color consult with you because I want to double check if I'm still on the right track here, or I've been actually buying the wrong colors for like the last 2 decades. So that is on the list of things to do. But what I did do a couple of years ago is that I went to a large department store here in London, and they have a personal shopping person that you can book.
Mhm.
And it was absolutely amazing. I was completely, and I did it twice. The first one was absolutely, the second one was good as well. Was a lady. The first time I did my personal shopping was with a gentleman, and he was incredible.
Mhm.
And he came up with this bright yellow top, and I looked at him going, you are serious? And he's like, trust me. He said, you like your navy, put the yellow top on with this necklace and put the navy color jacket that you really like, that you already told me you really like,
Mhm.
and put it over each other. And I just went, wow. And then he said, look, I've got the exact same one in a bronze color, and you're going to look amazing too. And every time I wear that outfit, people say to me, that looks nice on you. So he really broadened my horizons in what
Mhm.
I didn't think I would ever wear. And the funny
Mm.
thing is, I have never bought a jumpsuit. He actually got me a jumpsuit, and I put it on, and I thought, I don't think that's me. And I till this day still regret it because I think I should have bought it.
Nothing haunts you more like the things you don't buy. Yeah, if you knew they were right. Yeah.
So interesting. Oh my goodness, listeners, our time is up. Our time is up. But it's just been so amazing, Laura, because you have a fantastic offer for our listeners, don't you? So
I do.
listen up, everyone, because Laura's got a lovely little offer, and because she wants to help you find out what your best neutral is too, right? So what do people need to do?
What do they need to do? Yeah, so I'm essentially offering people, if they'd like to find out for free, what your best dark neutral is, that would essentially be the basis for your capsule wardrobe. And all you have to do is take a selfie. It's that simple. It needs to be well lit. So stare out of the window like a crazy person, because the lighting is nice and even, and it's a neutral kind of white light, which is what I need. And then, yeah, send it over to me. So I think you're going to include contact details and stuff and information. So yeah, and then just ping it over to me. Let me know that you heard this through the podcast, just so I know where you've come from.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will, I'll let you know.
So
basically.
You need to, so if our listeners want to find out what their dark neutral is, their best dark neutral, you need to stand next to a window so you get natural light. Do you need to wear makeup or no makeup at all? What's best?
You can wear some makeup. I'm not mean. What would be good is to not have like lipstick, eyeshadow, blusher, or bronzer on. So not like the color elements of makeup. So you can have like, you know, foundation and things.
Yeah. And do you also need to have a photo of the eye? Is that correct?
Yes, actually, that would be helpful. It's a bit of a bizarre request, but yes.
Okay.
If you live with anybody else, if you could get them to take it for you, because I find the selfie camera can be a bit blurred, because I need to see your iris. Weird. And it needs to be in focus.
Okay. So listeners, what a fantastic thing. So if you want to find out what your best dark neutral is, send Laura a selfie of your face, a close-up picture of your eye, and I will include all the details in the show notes. Probably easiest to use her Facebook message, but I've got a website, I've got an Instagram page, I've got an email. So I'll put all those details in the show notes so you can send your images to Laura and she can help you figure this out. So thank you, Laura, for offering that to our listeners.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
So, and maybe this podcast has inspired you to think, you know what, I need to figure this out. I feel I'm always wearing the wrong thing. I feel like I'm wearing the wrong colors. I'm dressing for summer, but I think I might be in autumn or whatever. Maybe you want to reach out to Laura and she can help you with your colors and sort that out with you. So I think all the details will be here on our website, how you need to do that and how much it costs, etc. Because she can do everything online. So it doesn't matter if you're not in the UK. With the time difference, I'm sure it will work out at some point that even if you're in America
all over the world.
Exactly. So clients all over the world, get in touch with her to do this consultation. Thank you, Laura, for all your advice and your lovely information for our listeners.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It was lovely to chat with you.
Well, listeners, are you intrigued and do you want to find out more? Reach out to Laura, and we hope that this podcast was helpful for you and that you are going to take action, because that's what we are all about here in the Declutter Hub. And you know this, and we tell you this every week. Take action. And we just appreciate you being here and listening to us. So if you've enjoyed this podcast and you think, wow, my friend so-and-so would love to know about this color image and styling, etc., I want to forward her the show. Go to the declutterhub.com website. You'll find the show there. In the show notes, all the details. And maybe they want to listen too. If you want to have more handy tips and advice about decluttering and organizing from Leslie and I, please go to the Declutter Hub community on Facebook, because we've had an amazing group with amazing members, and we'd love for you to join us too. If you don't want to miss the next weekly episode, please subscribe to the Declutter Hub podcast, and it will pop into your notifications each Friday. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Declutter Hub podcast. Check out declutterhub.com for more inspiration, and don't forget to tune in next week.